ever feel like somewhere inside of you are the messages that will tell you who you really are and who you're meant to be? But somehow you don't have access to this information. There seems to be something blocking that little voice inside you. Maybe you feel forced to form some identity through your work, your relationships, or whatever it is. And you depend on outside forces to help you shape this identity. Maybe this identity looks good on the outside, but on the inside, somehow it doesn't fit. At least not anymore. That little voice inside you remains silent and doesn't seem to want to help. Why won't it speak up? And how can you make yourself hear it? Stick around and find out. Hi, I'm Hope. I'm the author of the book, The Creative Toolbox, a practical guide to discovering and using your creativity. And I love helping people explore intuition, creativity, and self-awareness for a freer, more conscious life. To help more people access this information, please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. Sometimes you might feel like you need some answers, but that inner voice of yours doesn't always seem accessible to you. That inner voice, the one that tells you the truth about yourself, is actually always there for you. The problem is that we are not always ready to hear the truth of the inner voice, and we knowingly or unknowingly create distractions to drown the inner voice out. One way that people distract themselves from what their inner voice is telling them is by continuously having noise all around them. By noise, I mean actual sound like music, TV, and podcasts, but also other stimulation that distracts them, such as scrolling on their phones and the constant running from one activity to the next. What causes people to fill their lives with this constant noise? The desire of the mind, for one thing. The brain is always seeking to predict what will happen next. If you are silent, then there is the opportunity for the mind to face what it may not want to face, such as unresolved situations, uncomfortable memories, uncertainty about the future, and even boredom. The brain is rewarded for the noise stimulation. New sounds, alert messages, conversations, and media provide your brain with small hits of dopamine. So these distractions actually feel good, even addictive. Noise protects you from your emotions. Have you ever been alone at home and you put on music or the TV as background sound? This helps you avoid loneliness, anxiety, grief, overthinking, or self-judgment. This feels safer than going within yourself in silence. This is not at all to say that sound is bad. Sound can keep people's moods regulated and connect people. Some people even think better using ambient sound or music because moderate stimulation regulates their emotions. It's when noise consumption is compulsive that it's more likely to be used as avoidance. Many people find that when they try sitting in silence for as little as 10 minutes, they quickly become restless and get out their phones. However, if the nervous system is readjusted, which I will talk about later in this video, silence becomes rejuvenating. When you are constantly engaging in external input, this can weaken your access to your own inner signals. It's not that you are destroying your inner signals, but your inner knowing is being drowned out. So what do I mean by inner knowing? This can include your intuition, emotional truth, your conscience, the awareness within your body, your true values, your independent thought, and your own sense of what feels right or wrong. Your inner signals are not as loud and fast-paced as the external stimulation that I described earlier. Inner signals can be discovered during pauses, upon reflection, in moments of boredom, when you're alone, and during periods of deep focus. When you add external stimulation to this process, a competition for your attention occurs. When this competition takes place, The tendency is that reflection is replaced by reaction. Responding replaces discernment. The mind focuses on what is external instead of internal to you. You're more influenced by others' opinions than your own, making it hard to tell if you really believe something or if you've absorbed the belief consistently through others. Your emotional awareness becomes less easily accessed. Constant distraction prevents you from receiving subtle messages from your intuition. Your identity becomes less like living your truth and more like role-playing. And more distraction breeds anxiety because you can't get to the core of what's unresolved. As I said, this doesn't mean all external input is bad. Our inner knowing can further develop through our conversations, the art we consume, the music we listen to, the books we read, and the cultures we share. But again, it is the amount that we absorb in comparison with the time we spend going within. So, a good balance is to receive external input and reflect on it, to have the outside experience and integrate it with your inner self, to engage in conversation and reserve time for solitude, and to act, but take time for silence. For many people, the clarity that comes with integration happens when they take a long walk, are in the shower, are on a retreat, pray, meditate, are in nature, take time away from their devices, and have quiet time late at night. The inner voice containing the insight was always there. It's that the external noise was louder, preventing the insight from being discovered sooner. Another way that you can distract yourself from tuning into your inner knowing is the need to perform based on the identity you have assumed. Why would we need to perform as a certain identity? Well, it can give us a feeling of certainty that this is who we are. Others identify with the persona we have adopted, so we feel like we belong. We receive approval from those who like our persona, which makes us feel safe. But if this persona clashes with who we really are, we can have few opportunities to discover our inner self. For example, someone who plays the role of the wise one always feels compelled to speak with complete certainty, even when they feel confused inside. The person who plays the independent one never feels like they can ask others for support. The person who plays the spiritual one always uses the right phrasing, creates an environment with a soothing vibe, and performs all the rituals, but feels chaotic on the inside. The person who is the tough one looks and acts like they're made of steel, but they don't really feel safe. People become so good at playing these parts, they even convince themselves that the roles are their authentic selves. But while the roles we play require us to explain ourselves consistently, stay true to our character, attach ourselves to labels, become central to our sense of belonging, keep ourselves in fear of contradicting the part we play, or becoming anxious or defensive when someone challenges our identity. When we drop those roles and embrace our authentic selves through our inner knowing, we move through life directly, quietly, less defensively, less conscious of self-image, and with less need for external validation. Now, this is not to say that forming an identity is a bad thing. We need to do this to an extent to function socially. But when the identity supersedes your authentic experiences in the world, that is when you have moved away from your inner knowing. If you want to know if you are too involved in maintaining a role, ask yourself, if no one saw me, would I still feel like doing or saying this? What would happen if I stopped playing this part? Does this feel like it is happening spontaneously in real time? Or has it been rehearsed and defended? Is my response based on my perception or an image I'm trying to maintain? Inner knowing occurs when it quietly aligns with you before you make mental or verbal justifications. There are other ways that we move away from our authentic self and inner knowing. Sometimes people can be dismissive of our true responses, calling us too sensitive or questioning our perception of a situation or telling us to stop overreacting. When you are continuously responding under stress, the urgency, noise, frequent multitasking, and anxiety can take over, drowning out the quiet and subtle cues of our inner knowing. Trauma can also cause us to disconnect from our body or our emotional awareness as a means of self-preservation. We may do this by numbing, dissociation, overly rationalizing, or compulsive behavior to prevent ourselves from going within. We may over-intellectualize emotions by analyzing them instead of allowing ourselves to experience them. Now that we know some of the ways that people distract themselves that prevent them from getting quiet and going within to listen to the true self, how can we get back to tuning into that inner voice? Here are 5 ideas. Number 1, turn down the noise. Give yourself opportunities for awareness to be discovered by reducing the stimulation that distracts you from awareness. Here are some examples. Take a walk without listening to music or a podcast. Resist the urge to scroll on your device during downtime. Don't have background entertainment while you are eating. Don't immediately find something stimulating to do when you are bored. This often takes some getting used to, but allow yourself to experience any discomfort you feel. If you give yourself 10 to 20 minutes per day of unstructured silence, you may begin to restore the awareness of your inner signals. Imagine walking into a dark room after being outside in bright sunlight. At first, you can barely see, but if you stay still, your eyes adapt and subtle details emerge. The nervous system works similarly with silence. Initially, it feels empty because the brain is calibrated for intensity. After adaptation, silence stops feeling like deprivation and starts feeling spacious. Number 2, shift your focus from story to sensation. Rather than keeping your focus constantly to the story of your identity, who you are, how you appear, what this information means about you, how you should be perceived by others, bring your awareness to what you feel within. How do you do that? Engage in sensory practices that reconnect inner awareness. Do body scans in which you visualize each body part relaxing from head to toe. Take slow, full breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take walks with nothing to distract you. Do yoga. Meditate. Tune into your body's responses as you try out the decisions you could make on an issue. Instead of asking, "What should I think?" ask yourself, "What happens within me when this is true?" Number 3, notice where performance replaces presence. As was mentioned, it's not bad to have an identity, but notice when your image drowns out your inner signals. Observe moments when you find yourself rehearsing conversations before you have them, or overly certain about your point of view. Focus on others' approval. Keep silent when you disagree, and suppress your immediate response and speak instead from your identity. Ask yourself, who am I trying to be right now? And what would change if nobody was watching? It's not that you are constantly going to impulsively speak about what comes to you. It's that you are lessening the gap between your practiced identity and your real experience and sensations. Number 4, build up a tolerance for the unknown and feelings of discomfort. Often people disengage from their inner signals because the insights can challenge the very identities they have built over time. The inner self may shine light on buried feelings of grief, envy, loneliness, desire, anger, uncertainty, incompatibility, and the discovery that something that looks wonderful on the outside has long expired on the inside. There may be a strong impulse to add some noise as distraction, to become more productive, or to double down on performing your identity role to drown out the inner signals. But if your goal is to increase your authenticity You must develop more tolerance to staying in the moment while facing uncomfortable truths. And as you build on this ability, like any muscle you exercise, it will get stronger. And number 5, start with small, authentic signals first. We may think that inner knowing doesn't occur until we've had some huge aha moment, but most of the time, authenticity starts with small, subtle, and repeated signals. Examples could include spontaneously and truthfully saying no, admitting that you are confused, letting yourself rest when you feel tired, ending an interaction that feels done sooner than usual, following something that captures your true interest, limiting time spent in negative environments, and speaking simply and truthfully without an agenda. These small, subtle moments of truth add up to form a stable sense of inner alignment. What is one step that you can take today to start revealing your inner signals so you can live with more authenticity? Comment down below. Well, that's it for now. Please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my channel to know when the next video drops. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more tools for exploring your intuition, creativity, and self-awareness for a freer, more conscious life. See you soon.